Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming back to my channel. I'm going to do some crafting today, and I thought, well, I'll do a live video. I haven't done one in a while because the YouTube camera kind of bothers me a little bit because everything, when I look up at my screen, everything is backwards and it doesn't let me, everything is reversed, and it also doesn't let me adjust my camera while I'm doing the live videos, but um, it's fun to have you guys join me. So that will make up for the YouTube annoyances. Anyway, thanks for coming back. And if you're new here, thank you for coming and hit subscribe below. I'd appreciate that. I'm trying to get up to 500 people, and then I'm going to have a cool or 2 or 3. And if you're watching, say hi so that I know who's here with me, and I'd like to say hi back. So I have been here's what I've been working on. I'm trying to get out a couple of my junk journal idea books. I've been working on those. I have a couple of orders for these that I'm getting out, but I wanted to take a break and do something else for a little while because I can't just sit and do orders all day, or, I never want my business to start feeling like a business. I want it to always be fun. So when I've had enough of one thing, I move on to the next. So I have been still going absolutely crazy with tissue paper. It's my new obsession. I admit, my new addiction. Like I needed one more, right? So I spent the morning printing off some tissue papers. Now, here's an idea for you. Let's see if I have this here. Yes, here is a collage that I made. And I did some sewing on it and just glued some things down onto coffee stained paper. And then I scanned it in so I can use it all the time. So whenever you make a collage or something like that that you really like, you should scan it in so that you can continue using it. So I printed it onto tissue paper, and see how nice it ends up? And now I won't be afraid to use this page because I have it forever. And look how your own personal collage would look so nice on tissue paper. It's a great idea to save your works of art. Here is another thing that I got off the public domain. I just printed that onto tissue paper. I thought that was really pretty. Now these two here, these are the freebies today. I'm going to, after I finish the live stream, I'm going to put a link below to my Flickr account so that you can go and get these. The first one is ladies' boots from the Victorian era that print off in black and white. They look super nice on tissue paper, but they'd also look nice printed right onto coffee stained paper too. And then this is the real fun one that I found this morning. This is, let me find the actual hard copy because I printed off a hard copy one too. So this is an envelope from the Victorian era. Let me move my light. So there we go. And it is, it's an actual envelope. And this circulated, you could tell because it's got the stamp that was, what do you call that when they cross out the stamp? What the heck is the name of that? Tell me down below, or if you jump into the chat. I know there's a name for it and it's escaping me. But somebody drew on the back of this envelope. It was the stamp is dated 1894, and it says teeth painlessly extracted by steam power, and it's somebody's hand drawing. Isn't that so fun? And so I printed it onto tissue paper, but this and the boots are going to be a freebie for you. I manipulated them in Photoshop to make them. This one will now fit on a 5x7 standard envelope. I never remember if that's A2, A4, but 5x7. And then this one here. So those are today's freebies for you. I hope you like them. But I printed those onto tissue paper. So I'm just going to do some collaging today. I'm also going to do a review of something that I bought at Hobby Lobby to do these wax seals. I have a not so good review on one and a good review on another. So I want to tell you a little bit about my experience with the wax seal and show you how I go about doing these. And let's see. Oh, I have a bunch of stuff in here that is work related that you don't care about. Hang on. I'm getting all mixed up. I had something else in here I wanted to show you. Oh, okay. This is something really neat that I found in the public domain. Not in the, yeah, in the public domain. This is what is considered the first shape book, S-H-A-P-E, shape book. So a lot of people do this with mini albums and journals where you have a book that's in a certain shape. So this book was in the shape of Red Riding Hood. And then it flipped up like this, and then it had the story of Little Red Riding Hood in it. So it says, "There was a lonely cabin within a dank old wood, and in it with her mother there dwelt Red Riding Hood." It's a poem, and it's got beautiful images. So just for example, just quickly cut this out. I'm going to manipulate this in Photoshop so that you can download this and make a shape book if you would like. It's going to take a little bit of manipulation, though. It's going to take me a while. But again, if you click the bell below and or go over to my Facebook page or go to my Etsy shop, the Scrapologist, and favorite my shop, those are all ways that you can be assured that you don't miss something when I come out with a new video or come out with a new project idea. So, okay, sorry, I know cutting is boring, but okay, so this is what it would look like. And then you would flip it up and you would have a whole series of pages. I'm going to try to give you the whole book, and I'm going to have to figure out a way that we're going to attach it at the top. So anyway, isn't that really cool? The first ever shape book, at least according to the library where I found this book. So I'm working on that too, and I was just really excited and I wanted to share that with you. The rest of this is business stuff that would bore you to death. Let me put that away. So the first thing I wanted to do is I really wanted to play with this fun image that I just found. So I have a coffee stained envelope that's 5 by 7, and that should fit on there. Oh, wait a minute. Let me check my measurements. Oh, I didn't print it out right. My fault. I didn't print it out right, but that's okay. I really don't care. I'm just going to glue this up with a glue stick. Throw the tissue paper on top. Oh, I'm going to love this. Where's my brayer? I really like to recreate things like this, like with my my mat is brand new, so I'm trying to keep it clean. I'm really bad with these mats. Got glue all over it. What was I saying? Oh, so there are a lot of things that are vintage that we'll never be able to afford to buy, right? Like my illuminated calligraphy manuscript. I got that from a rare book that's over $300 on the market, but we can recreate that book. And I did. I did make a junk journal out of that kit that's sold like within an hour, but same with this envelope. This is a really cool piece of history that somebody hand drew on the back of an envelope. This is from the Victorian era. We can't have the actual envelope, but somebody found it and preserved it, and so we can recreate it and have it in our collection. I just really, I know I keep saying this over and over, but I just really am loving working with tissue paper. So when am I going to get over this? I don't know. I don't know. But look, love it. Would have been better if I had printed it correctly, but it's okay to have a border. Really, really is. And so now we've got a vintage envelope. You know what? Let me, I was going to show you. Oh, I have to plug in something. I'm under my desk right now. I will be right back. I'll be back on top of the desk in a minute. Well, not on top of the desk. I haven't been drinking or anything. Let's see. We have a 150-year-old house here. And, okay, I'm back. And we don't have electricity in some of the rooms. And most of the rooms only have one outlet. So you can imagine a craft studio with only one outlet. I have extension cords everywhere. And one of these days my husband will get to rewiring this room. But in the meantime, plugging and unplugging things is a bit of a challenge. So I wanted to show you about this wax seal. Oh, but I didn't bring the wax seal over. I'm sorry, hang on. Okay, so I'm going to go online and look for some other seals. Roll up my sleeves here. I just happen to, I happen to be working. I'm doing a show right now at one of the local universities. I'm a music director, and there's a Hobby Lobby, unfortunately, right down the street. So I keep going there. But they happen to have some wax seals, so I just bought some. I wanted to try them. So the first thing that I got were these, and these I liked them because they have a marble look to them. So that's what I used. That's how I made this. Sorry, I'm having a hard time because everything's in reverse when I look at it. Okay, that's how I made this. Now, the problem with this is, first of all, you have to get a box of matches and light it. So I don't think there's anything more scary than a lit match in a craft room full of aged paper. So I don't like the idea of having a flame in my craft room, but I tried it anyway, and I did achieve this after the third attempt. You can see how much of the wax it took me to practice. But the thing about this that I really did not like is when your very first drip onto the paper has a flame in it. So when I would drip it onto the paper, this would then be on fire. So that's just way too dangerous for me. I also, again, live in a 150-year-old house that would probably go up like, well, there was only already one fire here before we moved in. So we don't need another one. So option two, I'm going to hang on to this, but if I want to use this, I'm going into the kitchen and do it by the sink or something like that. But also, I take a chance of my project going up in flames if I've got flames sitting here. And of course, I immediately blew it out. But yeah, that's so my preferred method now. And I'll do it on this one. Oh, and here's the little stamp set that came with it. Well, they didn't come with it, but it was the only one they had at the time I was there, and it was these vintage typewriter numbers, which I really like, but I want to get letters. I'm going to order those online. So what I ended up finding at Hobby Lobby were these wax seals, and they go, oops, I'm having trouble with wax strings all over the place. Hold on. They go in your glue gun. Much, much safer method. And at the time, all they had was pink, but when I went again yesterday before rehearsal, I found some maroon ones, which was more of a vintagey color that I was looking for. So you just put a big glob of it on your envelope, and you have to keep making sure that your flap is down. Okay. Make sure that your seal is moist. I just dip it on a damp paper towel, and then you leave it there for a few seconds. So that is so much safer. Let me unplug this glue gun than having an open flame in your craft room, and especially one that is going to, when the wax is going to drop flame onto your project. So these are pretty cool. It's called Wax Seals by the Paper Studio, and they go right in your glue gun. The only other problem, and it's not really a super big problem, but the only other problem with using your glue gun is now you're going to have this wax in there instead of glue. And if I want to use my glue gun now, I've got to find a way to get this out, use up all the wax, waste all the wax that's kind of already in here before I can stick my glue stick in and use this, for glue again. So that's another drawback. You kind of have to have a separate glue gun. It has to be a hot one, obviously. A hot temp one. So you do have to have a separate glue gun if you want to do this method. And then see how nice that looks? That came up really nice. You do have to remember to moisten this or it's just going to stick. There. But again, not super thrilled with the pink. So, and you do get some waxy strands. I also have them all over my desk over there where my glue gun is. So there, I just wanted to do a little review on that. The wax seals, sealing wax that goes in your glue gun versus the ones with a scary open flame in your craft room. Okay. Yeah, you should have heard me when I looked down and I realized my project was on fire. That was a scary moment. But this is a freebie. Head over to my Flickr account and I'll put the link below. Okay, and there's that. Oh, the other thing I found. Look at how pretty this is. This is a fairy tale, the fairy tale line, and it was actually in the jewelry section. Let's see if you can see. Inside is a little key and some gold beads. I loved it. And these were 50% off yesterday. So I bought a bunch of these because I think what I'm going to do, let me see. my Bohemian collection here of envelopes, which I'm sorry, I know a lot of you have contacted me, and where I'm directing 2 shows right now, plus I have 2 junk journals, custom orders, and some other things that I'm trying to get out. I just haven't had a chance to list these. I'm really sorry. I will get them. I'm going to try to get them in today, okay? Sunday. Um, but this is inspiring me. I think I'm going to use this as an inspiration for my next set of heirloom envelopes that I do. Instead of the boho bead, I think I'll probably have this hanging off one, and it's going to be a super vintage. Oh, this yeah, I was looking for that earlier. It's going to be a super vintage set instead of boho next time. Maybe. I don't know. I've been on I've been on a super creative high the past month, and I think it's because I have cabin fever. In Maine, oh, this especially this January this year has been absolutely horrendous weather-wise. One minute it's raining and then it freezes overnight, and then the next day it's -18, which, by the way, the last time it was -18, I got not 1 but 2 flat tires on the way to rehearsal. It's a 2-hour drive. -18 degrees. So I'm kind of homebound because that's way too cold for my husband and I to go snowshoeing, and the weather just has not been good. And so um, I'm not distracted by all the outdoor activities that we normally like to do during all the other seasons of the year. So I'm finding that all the time in the studio is really I'm just like coming up with creative ideas left and right. I hope it lasts. So anyway, okay, let me get rid of this too. So all I'm going to do with this is show you how I go about creating a collage with my tissue papers that I print. Now, oh, this is another experiment I wanted to show you. I decided to, now don't try this at home, people, and burn down your house and then sue me. But I decided to bake my coffee stained paper in the oven, which I never do. I don't like that step. I don't feel it's necessary. But I wanted to leave it in there until it kind of started to burn. This is why I say don't try this at home. So I don't know if if it really comes across, but you see here that the paper did start to burn. And here's the thing, while it does look cool, it is tearing, and it became too fragile for me to actually be able to fold. Look, it's even coming off in my hand. For me to be able to fold and use as pages in a journal. So that was a failed experiment, but that's that's sometimes how you have to learn. I still like the look of it. So I think I'm going to use this side, and where it is a little fragile, if I take glue and do a tissue collage on top, then um, then I should be able to use it. Hello, who is ever watching? Um, I had some other tissue paper. Where did it go? Here it is. Okay, so I'm still absolutely loving my historical letters, papers and letters kit. I'm using it in everything because who doesn't like this vintage script, right? It's just neutral enough that you can use it for every project. So you can see I've been using it. So I have some of this too. A little bit of this left over. And oh, I guess I already had one of these. Yeah. So I've got that too. So I am just going to start without thinking too much. That's easy to do for me. I am just going to start gluing this on. You know what? I want to put my old mat up here because I don't want to get glue all over this one. Plus, this new mat here is really stinky. It's got a real strong rubber smell. It's kind of giving me a little bit of a headache. I'll cover it up. There we go. Okay. So this is just my process. I don't really think about it because that takes the fun out of it, I think, if you think too much about it. And I tore it. That's okay. I pressed down too hard with my glue. You can go online and get free images to print onto tissue paper all day long. Now, I know some of you aren't really into that. I see that a lot on the different Facebook groups of people that would like to have digital kits, but they don't really know how to print, or they just don't want to use up the ink or whatnot. So you can always convo me in my shop, and if there's one of my kits that you would like printed and mailed to you on tissue paper, I'd be happy to do that for you, because you're missing out if you're just using napkins like this that you buy at the dollar store. That's super fun too, but it gives you a whole other level of creativity when you can use other stuff. So I'd be happy to do that for you. Let's see. Just gonna cut off the edge here. This is so pretty. And I prefer not to have too many straight edges when I'm doing this. Yeah, I think I'll put that up there. So yeah, we're really getting cabin fever here in Maine. It's been a tough winter. We're expecting more snow 3 days this week, which of course you have to expect when you are in Maine, but we had our first below 0 days in November. That's way too early. That usually doesn't hit till January. And then we keep having crazy weather, like it will rain. The other day it was like 46 degrees suddenly from below 0. We had one day that was 46 degrees, and it rained all day, just downpour. And the rain had nowhere to go because we had a foot of snow on the ground. So all the manhole covers and drains and everything are all blocked, and there's flooding. And then that night it was below 0 again. So now everywhere you go, it's like um, being walking on an ice skating rink. There's just total ice. And then the worst thing of all is when it snows on top of that ice and you can't see where the ice patches are. Two of my friends have fallen this year and broken their arms. So it's just been really kooky weather, and I think we're all a little tired of it, especially with the forecast of more snow. Yeah, let's put that there. And it's okay to have a little bit peeking through, because we're going to also stamp on this and do some other things. And it doesn't have to be 100% covered. Yeah, I had to get a new mat because I forgot ironed on this one. Permanent bubbles in it. There's a really bad one up here. And I know that you can, what I heard was you can soak them in a bathtub full of warm water and it will, I went too high with that, and it will flatten it out again. But also there's so many cuts in it. This mat is really old. So many cuts. There's paint and glue all over it. And I figured, I'll just use this one for when I'm painting and doing stuff like that, and I'll get a new one. But I'm sure it won't take me long to bubble that one up too. I know I'm not supposed to put heat on it. Then I forget. I get out my heat gun and I'm like, and my mat starts bubbling up. I just get going. I get in my own head and get doing things and just forget about details like that. Where's all this string coming from? Oh, I have a piece of ribbon there. Okay. What else? So you can see on this page, I did do some sewing on it. I'm probably not going to sew on this one. Just because I could, but I don't think that's the look I'm looking for. So let's tear this. And see, I know I've said this before, but since I'm printing this tissue paper myself, I don't have to worry about, oh, I just tore through that bird. I'll just print another one if I decide I want that bird. That's another reason why I just love doing this. Let's see. Should I go all the way to the top with that? I think I will. Okay. Yep, I like that. The bottom's a little too straight though. Let's get rid of that. So since I'm music directing 2 shows at once right now, I'm in rehearsal all day for one show and then in the evening for the other. And for one show, I have an assistant music director, and for one, I don't. So it's a ton of piano playing. So my hands, I really should be resting them and not be in the craft room because my hands just, I've got a lot of overuse, which is why I retired from New York because my hands and shoulders and arms couldn't take it anymore. But, it is what it is. I can lay on the couch and have my hands bother me, or I can be up in my craft studio and have my hands bother me, right? I think that'll look good right there. Sometimes if there's a specific shape I'm going for, I'll put the glue on the page. Sometimes I'll put it on the tissue. Just depends. If I put it on the page, then I can tear it off to the shape that I wanted. I hope this isn't too boring. I was just doing this and I thought, well, I'll show everybody my process at the same time. Let's see. Oh, got to use some of these. I think I'm going to put those on at the end. But I need something right there. And already this paper is much more strong. And I'll be able to use it now. I think that can go there. See how nice the script looks kind of mixed in with images? It's just, if you only download one digital kit, I would recommend you get one with with script on it. So I did a whole bunch of announcements at the top of the video. If you're just now joining me, I'm going to have some freebies that I'm going to be offering at the end of the video after this gets uploaded or officially uploaded to the YouTube site. Let's see. Almost done. I think it's looking beautiful. And the thing I love is, I know I keep touching it, but I'm very tactile. I just love the way the tissue paper feels and sounds. It just really, if you're doing vintage, it just adds a lot to it, I think. Actually, I don't think I'm going to add anything more. I'm going to leave these spots blank for now. I'm just going to trim up the excess here. Oops, I cut into the paper there. Okay, there aren't any scraps here big enough to use really, so we'll get rid of those. And then what I want to do is some of this, let me just tack this down. Oops, or rip it off. There we go. Sometimes I forget and I print on my tissue paper on the glossy side. I forget to print on the matte side. And so I just like to, whoops, in a circular motion, ink it up just a little bit. Even some of this just kind of gives it one tone, makes it look more uniform. Let me finish gluing some of this down. Okay, and it's probably too subtle for you to really be able to see on the screen there. Okay. And then what I like to do, where is it? Oh, my desk is usually so neat, but I have so many orders going out that I've got piles. Where is that? Oh, I'm going to look for a stamp. Hold on. Darn it, it's lost in the void. Let me just look here on my desk under my piles. Oh, here it is, right, right in front of me. So what I like to do, let me grab my ink pad. I'd like to do a little bit of stamping on top of this in either black or brown. Actually, I think I will not do black because I have these black images that I can put on the top. So I think what I'll do is fussy cut one of these out. If you're just joining me, these boots, these Victorian boots, are one of the things that's going to be a freebie for you. I'm going to put it in my Flickr account, and you'll be able to download it. Doesn't have to be completely neatly cut out because we can ink the edges. But I like that. Put that one there. Maybe a little one. I like that number 6 too. Do this little one. And we'll put that down here. Yeah, I like that. Okay, let's glue it. I think it just gives it more dimension when you don't just stick to all of the vintage brown colors. Like this is Tim Holtz vintage photo. I know we all use that and love it, but you see how it just gives it more interest when you put a pop of black on there. So you can either do it with an element like this, or I have this script stamp here. I think that's upside down. I think it's nonsense words anyway, but sometimes you can do this too. So let me show you. I mean, might as well. We already have black script on here, but what if I just take and do that? And it's not super bright and legible, but it just gives it a little bit of interest there. So you can put black on your project either way. And let me glue this one down. Love it. Now I also have this set of postage stamp and airmail squiggles, they're lines that I really love. And you can use something like this to give it a pop of black too. I don't have my, oh yes I do. Didn't think I had my block here. But there's a little stamp here. What if I just want to put a pop of black next to it? And not quite so dark, put just a light one there. There, gives it a little more interest. You can do anything. It's your collage. It's a collage. It's not, you know, it's not supposed to be all uniform. And I'm just going to ink the background here. Now see, if I had set out to do this, it never would have happened. It's just more of a build as you go. Oh, I have a space that's long and wide. Let's put the shoe there, kind of thing. And we've still got some of the coffee stain paper showing through there. So there, I think I'm done. I'm happy with it. Now, what I'm going to do, as I mentioned earlier, is I'm going to scan this in. So now I will have tissue paper that looks like this that I can print all of the time. So that's my process. I'm sure everybody differs, but it's super fun and really relaxing too. And you end up with something that you can use over and over and over again. So tissue paper collage, sew on it if you want. Pops, I would suggest pops of black, maybe a little bit of stamping. Definitely have some script on it. Just a few basic um, things that you've printed onto tissue paper, and you can make a beautiful collage. So thank you so much for watching. I'm real happy to give you the 2 freebies. Look at the link down below for my Flickr account once I get this uploaded, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.